The buzz is out there that John Mateer could actually be back for the Texas game.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Sooner Nation? Welcome to Locked On Sooners, and thank you for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. This episode is brought to you by Mazda. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is only the beginning. Stay tuned later for highlights in this week's Mazda Moving the Game Forward. Mazda, move and be moved. He's Jay Smith of Unfair Sports. I'm John Williams of Sooners Wire and USA Today Sports. And on today's show, Oklahoma gets another commitment in the 2026 recruiting class. Are they the most improved team in college football? One college football writer says yes. But this is probably the most interesting story of the week, Jay, is there's so much buzz right now that John Mateer could actually be back for the Texas game, something that I didn't think was possible, but it's seeming more and more likely all the time.
Yeah, it's funny. I got to give y'all a special shout out, friends and fans up there. You guys are hilarious in all the conspiracy theories and the things that you can figure out. It's just been so much fun watching just how all of this has evolved into its own animal. The Dr. Shin memes have been hilarious. And then we've got it's gotten so wild. And I don't think any other fan base would do something this ridiculously awesome. That it's actually started to bleed over into other fan bases, where other fan bases have gotten into participating. And in this one, it's the tortilla presser that came out on Tuesday, John. So on a Texas A&M message board, that this is what it says. I was in a Chipotle tonight in Norman, Oklahoma, and Mateer was in line in front of me. The tortilla presser asked Mateer how his hand is doing. Mateer said, great. And then Mateer said he is 100% going to play versus Texas. Here's to hoping Mateer leads the Sooners to shut out the Horns. Of course, it's being Texas A&M. They had to take shots at Texas because, that's just what we do, baby. It's rivalries. This is why college football is the best sport on earth. Hands down. But then the plot thickened, John, because of course this is message board material. So why would we even believe any of this being real? This is a message board. They're having fun. The plot thickened. Right underneath that post, someone posted a picture with John Mateer at Chipotle that says, that tortilla presser is my youngest. He's a junior at OU, and his old man is an Aggie class of 88. And you see a picture of the tortilla presser with John Mateer. Granted, you don't see the right hand, so you have no clue if it's swollen, if it's got the Band-Aid on it, which we've seen pictures of a Band-Aid floating around. John, this is so ridiculous. I love it. You all are awesome. That is the best part about college football, is that we find ways to do some of the good stuff.
We got Oklahoma CSI happening right before our very eyes, and it's glorious. I wasn't going to buy into any of this, and I wasn't going to get drawn off sides by some of the pictures that were circulating earlier in the week. And we had them. I mean, you and I talked about one like earlier this week, like Monday or Sunday. I can't remember what day it was, but I was like, nah, I'm not going to buy it. Not buying it. Well, I'm buying a little bit more. John Mateer. Listen, I'm not going to go on there and say this is an on record statement, but nobody shares that unless somebody actually says that. So I don't know, man. It's just wild, just a wild story. And I'm putting it at above 50% chance that John Mateer is going to play. I know that the message board report said 100%, but I'm going to put it at above 50%. I'm feeling a little bit more optimistic about the possibility of it happening, but it's crazy. It's crazy, and it's also really, really fun. Nobody's doing this for the NFL. Nobody's doing this at some smaller schools, only at Oklahoma. And that's why we say that there's only one Oklahoma, because we can detect the details and get the scoop from a Chipotle, not a Chick-fil-A, from a Chipotle, or we can get the scoop with a video camera in a dorm room, between the Spencer Rattler, Caleb Williams imbroglio that happened back in 2021. I mean, only at Oklahoma.
Only at Oklahoma with all this going on. Only at Oklahoma where you'd make like 50 different memes of Dr. Shin as different people, celebrities being on the field, being a coach. I think I saw one of him of Barry Switzer. I think I've seen one of him as Bud Wilkes. It's just so funny. But no, I'm with you. I am at about a 6. I'm at the probable stage now. I've been at doubtful. I've actually been at out. I've transitioned and doubtful. I'm more questionable now. Let's say that we're more questionable because in that range, as we just got to see, him throw a grip of football and be comfortable with it. It appears that the injury is not as serious as we thought. And yeah, that would be a good thing, of course. Now, that doesn't take anything from Michael Hawkins, because I think that Michael Hawkins, with healthy pieces, is very much capable as well in that game, especially with how strong this defense is and how strong the wide receiver room has shown themselves to be, especially if we got a tight end. Got a tight end that's out there putting up numbers, who should be our leading receiver from last season now. He should surpass that number. He's got 17 yards left, and he'll surpass what Bauer Sharp put out in the entire season. So I'm here for Michael Hawkins, and I think that this Kent State game is going to do a really good job of us understanding just how ready and he is in this system, especially because we know John Kuzieski, he's been the talk of the town all week about how he has helped prep these quarterbacks. I think Michael, like I said, is going to be very capable, and he's also he should do a great job of auditioning for the starting spot next season, especially if Mateer doesn't come back.
Yeah, this is just a great opportunity for Michael Hawkins Jr. to just remind everybody why he was such a highly thought of quarterback coming out of high school. I know in some places he was just a 3-star prospect, but you look at what he put on tape and it's exciting, man. The speed is exciting. The arm is exciting. There's a lot to be excited about. Now it's a matter of going out there and showing it on the football field at the collegiate level in circumstances and with a surrounding and supporting cast that's actually pretty good. It's not the leftovers of your depth chart. It's not your second and third string guys that he's going to be playing with against Kent State. And if he has to play against Texas, and he's going to be a much more capable player because he had some good moments last year, went through a lot of things to learn from last year that he's had 9 months to build on, but he got some really valuable experience last year. And so I think it's going to be a completely different Michael Hawkins Jr. with some of the same traits that we've seen, but he's going to perform a whole lot better in this system with this offensive coordinator, assistant quarterbacks coach, and this group of wide receivers. It's all going to look a whole lot better. I'll be curious, man, what it looks like next week. We'll get our first availability report next Wednesday, and how Mateer shows up on that could be indicative of what the intentions are for next Saturday in the Red River Showdown.
Yeah. We definitely will want him to play. I mean, he's your leader right now. He is one of the best quarterbacks in college football. So, of course, you don't want to pass on the opportunity of that. Plus, he even said it himself. That's what he came to Oklahoma for. Go beat Texas. That is one of the things that every single quarterback that's ever played at Oklahoma gets excited about the idea of doing, is playing Texas in that Red River, because there's no rivalry like it, man. I understand there's other rivalries out there, and some rivalries are great. The hate is very deep, runs deep with a lot of them. But this is one of the best experiences in college football. Once you're a part of it, you understand, this is dope. And the ability to run the field for it, Mateer wants that in his life. Michael Hawkins got to do that. So Michael Hawkins Jr. got to play in it. So he's got the experience and understand it. He didn't go out there full strength, but he got to play in it. Now John Mateers get to go out there. He basically full strength, all his wide receivers, especially because we got 2 players back. Giovanni Gibson is back. That is the expectation of him playing in this game, which is awesome. Eli Bowen shows up at corner again. That's huge. Yeah, man, if we could walk in there with, majority of the strength and the offensive line being healthy, first time since 2023, and y'all know what happened in that game.
Yeah, unlike last year where you couldn't get anybody healthy, you're getting healthier at the right time going into Kent State a week ahead of the Texas game. Next week is going to be a blast. And we're going to break down the Kent State game. We're going to get you prepared for that on our Friday episode, so make sure you're tuned in for that. Coming up Oklahoma is the most improved team in college football.
The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss right now. New customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I enjoy jumping on FanDuel and looking at all the games and looking at all the action that's possible. Plus, you can jump in there. You can you can pick games before they play, or you can go with the live picks during the game. Like I'm looking at Oklahoma's minus 45.5 against Kent State, and man, that looks enticing, but that over under of 53.5 really has got your boys' attention. It makes watching football even more exciting when you got a little something riding on the action. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started.
And this episode is also brought to you by Square. Your favorite neighborhood spots run on Square. There are certain businesses that make the neighborhood. These are the places that become an extension of home, whether it's the sports bar dedicated to your team's fan base, the spot with the best wings in town for game day, or that beloved local chain that's been rooted in your community for years. These businesses are what bring people together. When neighborhood businesses thrive, the whole neighborhood thrives. Again, I've talked about Abbey Road Catering out of Norman a number of times on this show. Love them. They did a great job catering my wife and I's wedding. Also love the Oklahoma Amphitheater, the Oklahoma Zoo Amphitheater. We get out there. When we get to Oklahoma City, we get to the zoo. We absolutely love to go there, and you got to check it out. If you haven't been with the kids, if you haven't gone and checked out some of the exhibits that they've got, you've got to go check out the Oklahoma Zoo and the Oklahoma Zoo Amphitheater. Just fantastic. Just love spending time out there on a beautiful fall day. It's so much fun. Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world. You can go to square.com/go/lockedoncollege to learn more. But before you do, go support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy you did. Square, see you in the neighborhood. Once again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Jay, the Oklahoma Sooners were considered the most improved team in college football by Paul Meyerberg of USA Today Sports, highlighting the improved offense, but also talking a lot about that defense.
Of course, the defense is the focal point of this team, and everybody's got something to say about how awesome our defense is, and I agree. This defense is fantastic. John, during the press conference yesterday, or was it Tuesday, that Brent Venables had, they were passing around game notes, and I remember sending you a picture of the defensive rankings for Oklahoma that was passed around, and this is what we got out of here. Oklahoma in sacks per game, which is averaging 4 sacks per game now, after that fantastic performance against Auburn. It's number 1 in the college football, as well as number 1 in the SEC. Third down conversion percentage, number 1 in college football, number 1 in the SEC. Opposing punts per game, we're forcing teams to punt at least 8 times per game on average. First in the NCAA, first in the SEC. Plays of 10 yards, more than 10 yards, only 25 this season, which is first in the NCAA and first in the SEC. Again, the numbers. That
surprises me.
That's awesome. Hey, look, we gave up some plays against Auburn, but overall, we're not really giving them up. Like, I think sometimes we pick and choose the positions where we're going to allow it. But, yeah, we've done a really good job of – this defense has been fantastic. And, of course, the offense has improved. It's been okay. The offense has been about middle of the road in the country, more so because we just haven't really been doing a lot. And I say that because – the thing I feel about this offense and the way that it's going is you can tell that one guy knows the entire playbook while everybody else is figuring it out. So it's still, you can still see some of the learning stuff. You can see some of the mistiming on some things, but for the most part, Mateer is still managing the offense in the way that you want it to be managed. He's managing it as if he understands what to do, and he's putting his teammates in positions to be successful. We just got to get the run game going. Get the run game going. I think this offense explodes, and I do think that we get right here against Kent State.
Yeah, I mean, John Mateer's improvisational ability has been big. Being able to tuck and run when you need a big run or just to get a first down. His ability to run quarterback power was huge against Michigan. It didn't show up as much against Auburn, but when you needed the touchdown to go win the game, he got you the touchdown to go win the game. So it hasn't been great, but it's been good enough. And that's the thing we keep coming back to is with the defense that you've got, all your offense has to do is get you to 20 to 30 points a game. And you're going to win a lot of those games because your defense isn't going to give up 30 points. I don't think at all this year. I mean, that might be a bold prediction, but this does not look like a schedule or you have a defense that's good enough to hold teams under 30. And if that happens, you're going to win a lot of these games. The Texas offense isn't what everybody thought it was going to be. LSU's offense isn't what everybody thought it was going to be. South Carolina, they're hit and miss. Tennessee might be maybe your biggest threat, but Joey Aguilar came back down to earth against Mississippi State. So I'm not necessarily sold on the offenses on the rest of the schedule. That doesn't mean that Oklahoma is going to win every game because they're going up against some really good defenses as well. But your defense has been so good that your offense just kind of has to take care of the football, which they really haven't been doing a good job of, but also making plays in crunch time. And they've been great in the fourth quarter, whether it was against Michigan or against Auburn. They were great in crunch time. Michigan, it was the 8.5-minute drive to just absolutely sap the clock and not give Bryce Underwood any time to try and mount a comeback from 11 points down. And against Auburn, it was, hey, we need a score. Let's go get a score. 6 plays, 75 yards, touchdown.
Yeah, that's the impressive part is that as the game progresses, it feels like the offensive line gets stronger. The run game actually picks up. You start getting like 6 yards a carry and 11-yard runs for first downs. Like, we have done a really good job in the clutch eating clock as you need to. And then the defense, of course, once again shows up when it matters the most. Like, I still can't get over that 2-minute and 14-yard drive where Mateer took us down the field and we took the lead against Auburn. I'm just ready to see what Mateer looks like on the road against, some of these SEC teams. I'm ready to see him against South Carolina and how he can will a team to victory out there at William Bryce. Tough stadium to play in, tough place to play, but he's shown that not only with his leadership and his ability that everyone rallies around him and they focus their mind and they go out there and execute last minute. Like, we've done a great job so far, and we've been in those situations. It's not a situation where we've never seen it before. You can tell that, they're gaining the proper experience so that as the season, like I said, progresses, they're just going to continue to get better and better. So all we got to do now, again, is get this run game established. We establish a run game, John, I think we'll be fine.
That would really make the difference because you don't have a whole lot of balance right now. And if you can go and have a really strong performance against Kent State, maybe that gives you enough confidence going into the Texas game because you're going to have to run it at least reasonably well. You don't have to run it for 7 yards a carry against Texas. I mean, that'd be great if you did, but if you can run for 3.5, 4 yards per carry against Texas, that's improved from what you did against Auburn, what you did against Michigan. So I think that would help set things up a little bit better just to be able to find some dirty yards and a few chunk runs here and there. But again, I keep coming back to the defense. Auburn got the ball back with 440 or 454 left to go in that game after Oklahoma scored a touchdown. And it wasn't like Auburn wasn't able to move the ball on Oklahoma during the game. They did find some plays, but once Oklahoma got a lead and it was, hey, we got to throw the ball now to win the game, they couldn't. Auburn got a 3-yard run, 3-yard 9-yard pass, first down. And then there was a 0-yard run for a gain, no gain, 10-yard penalty, 5-yard penalty. Again, this was holding and then a false start because the crowd was crazy. And then a run for no yards, a sack, and then a sack to end the game. Like, that was the defensive drive that Oklahoma gave you after you got the lead. That's what I'm talking about. Oklahoma defenses of the past, they give up a scoring drive.
Oh, yeah.
I have faith in this defense to shut it down when it's time to shut it down. And that's super exciting. One thing that might be shut down, I hope it's completely shut down. Oklahoma lands a wide receiver commitment in the 2026 recruiting class. Let's discuss coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than just simply move. From footwork to breathwork, athletes sweat all the details. Mazda brings the same intention to how we craft every model. You can just feel the Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from the metallic accents to the available Nappa leather upholstery. You can make everyday drives feel like anything, but from smooth handling to intuitive controls. And with all-wheel drive standard on every crossover SUV, you can drive with confidence through almost any season. Like our players, we sweat every detail, because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved.
And today's episode is also brought to you by Game Time. College football is here, and we couldn't be more excited. The tailgates, the rivalries, the energy in the stands, there's just nothing like it. But let's be real. Actually getting tickets can feel like more of a battle than the game itself. Endless queues, hidden fees, prices jumping at checkout. And that's why we use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the easiest way to score last-minute tickets at the best prices with no surprise fees. What you see is what you pay. We've pulled up the Game Time app a couple of times. You look at Red River or Ole Miss down the road, and there's some great options available all over the stadium if you're trying to get into the game. The app makes buying tickets super simple, and they've got zone deals. You pick the section, Game Time picks the seats, and you can save big. So take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket. Go download Game Time today. Once again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And just want to give a special shout out to you, the everydayer, for making Locked On Sooners your first listen. We just had our biggest month ever on both the YouTube side and the audio download side. And that's not possible without your support. And we are so thankful for you. We love to do this show. And we probably would do this show whether you were listening or not, but we enjoy doing it way more knowing that you enjoy our content and you enjoy the product that we put out. And we love the feedback that we get both on social media and on YouTube. So please keep that coming. We thrive off of the feedback, both the positive and the negative, the constructive criticism and the criticism. We take it all and we hear it and we try to grow from it. But we are so thankful for you guys and just cannot wait to continue to bring you great content every single day here on Locked On Sooners. The Oklahoma Sooners. Oh, you got something to add there, Jay?
I was going to say, yeah, and all the yelling y'all do at me, I really do appreciate it.
That's right. That's right. Hey, every hero needs a villain, and if Jay has to be your villain, by all means, go for it.
No, but okay.
That's not how that works. Oh, my bad.
Point. Fair point, though.
No, but even the non-Oklahoma fans that come through, we appreciate you guys as well too.
Yeah, those terrorists, yeah, those definitely great to have. But no, please continue.
All right, Braden Allen, Oklahoma receives a wide receiver commitment in the 2026 recruiting class. I'm excited about this kid. He's a 3-star prospect out of Louisiana, the number 55 wide receiver in the class according to On3. But man, there's a lot to like about his game, Jay.
There is 6'1", 6'2", about 170, 180 pounds. Has the breakaway speed that you want out of a wide receiver. He is based out of Lafayette, Louisiana. So one of those Louisiana kids that rarely leaves their own state. He was at Tulane. He decommitted, did a visit to Colorado and Oklahoma in back-to-back weeks. And the anticipation was that he was going to pick one of the two. He went to Colorado last on September 27th. So the thought was, okay, he's probably going to end up at Colorado. He kind of fits the mold of what wide receivers are there at Colorado. But he decided Oklahoma, and the Sooners have been on him for a while. Like, they've been on him all through the summer. And the one thing I like about him, though, like I said, not only with his size and breakaway speed, he does a triple jump in track, so he's a track kid as well.
Athletic.
Very athletic. 55 catches for 1,155 yards and 10 touchdowns as a junior. Absurd.
Yeah.
Pretty darn good for a player down there in Louisiana. You know, the Louisiana wide receivers, man, they be coming out of nowhere. A lot of them go to smaller schools and then they transfer, especially with the portal. They end up at another bigger school. I mean, we got Giovanni Gibson, from he's a Louisiana kid that ended up at Arkansas Pine Bluff, and we're hearing nothing but great things about him. But I think Braden Allen has an opportunity to be in something special here. He has enough breakaway speed. He's not the fastest top speed. I think 11.58 on the 100, which is still pretty fast, but not what we're used to when you get them 4.3 speeds and 4.4 speeds we're seeing. But I think that his breakaway ability is all that matters, and I like his tape.
Yeah, I mean, he might not have tested well in the 40, but he's got speed on tape.
Yeah,
that pops. And being fast and playing fast are different, in my opinion. You don't have to be fast to be able to play fast. And he looks like a kid that can play fast. He's fast out of his breaks. He's fast down the field. He's fast after the catch. He's fast where it matters most. And you can build on the 40-yard dash time as you get ready for the NFL here in like 4 or 5 years. That's fine. Play fast for me. Love the hands. He's a hands catcher. Love that out of my wide receivers. They're not always trying to body catch. He shows the great ability to get downfield and to win contested catches as well. And man, we just know that these Louisiana kids are just kind of a different breed, right? They just come with a little bit of crazy to them and a little bit of cocky. And I want that in my wide receivers, especially. You've got to be the guy that believes he can go make every single play every time the ball's thrown his way. And I want that in my wide receivers. So after he committed to Tulane back in July, his recruitment actually picked up. Ole Miss offered, Colorado offered, Oklahoma and Oklahoma State all kind of came calling over the next, month or so. And so like if Lane Kiffin's coming after you, if Prime's coming after you, I'm encouraged. And I think this kid has a higher ceiling than what he's being rated right now. And it gives you a third wide receiver in the 2026 recruiting class. So your depth is getting kind of rebuilt a little bit after you lost so much through the transfer portal after last season. This helps to rebuild that depth.
Yeah, this is the third wide receiver in the class. Daniel Odom is still in there from California, the St. John Bosco, the 6'2", 175 receiver. So about the same size as Braden. And you still got ZZ from up there at, Rejoice Christian up there in Owasso. That's the good thing. You've added multiple receivers. Like you said, we're replenishing the cupboard. You're going to lose, 2 receivers in this class at minimum with Dion Burks and Keontez Lewis. You might get Giovanni to come back for one more year. You might not. We'll see what that looks like. But that's the good thing is you're adding more wide receiver depth for the room. You may move some players around. You may move some players out that aren't cutting it right now, but this is what you want. You want to make sure you have some young wide receivers to develop. You want some young wide receivers that could potentially play. Because I think Daniel Odom's one that has the talent to crack a depth chart young. Because he's still still a top 4-star wide receiver. So I do expect us to get one more receiver. Okay. One more on the list. So keep your eyes open. I know that they're chasing a couple of guys, and I know there's one that they're trying to flip that we were basically favored for a while. So we just got to wait and see if it happens.
Where else do you think Oklahoma might go in the 2026 recruiting class? Do you think that there's another position they might try to target? We know that they've been in on Brandon McMorris, the offensive tackle prospect out of Norman. Who else are they going after?
Yeah, see there's McMorris at from the local kid, so you want to look at him. I know that I saw a report that we're still talking to Gross, the wide receiver from down there in Texas. We're still in conversation with him. He committed to Florida, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to continue to, assess the situation and see if we could try to win him back.
I said Brandon, it's Daniel. My apologies.
Sorry, yeah, Daniel. And so there's a few. I think we may actually end up looking at maybe an additional player in the backfield to go to DeSephon Walker. We've been dealing with a lot of injuries in the backfield over the last few months. So it'd be nice to have one more running back in the room just in case. I'd say that's probably your next direction. Maybe get another DB. We probably could use one more corner as I think about the way the team is established. But I know they're not done with this class. Because we have so we're ranked right now 20th on, on 3. And I think class-wise, we've got 20 players so far? So, yeah, 20 commits. So I could see us going up there into the 24 range and probably adding a couple of offensive players and a couple of defensive players.
Yeah, and Oklahoma's done a great job at like the end of cycles to identify guys that have flown under the radar. I'm thinking of a Taylor Wine in particular. Ashton Sanders was one of those a few years back as well. But Taylor Wine in particular, somebody that wasn't getting a lot of recruiting buzz, but Oklahoma saw something in him, went ahead and made a late offer, and then got that commitment. It was like a month before the early signing period, or even sooner or closer than that. So I expect that they'll do the same. They'll find somebody that they really, really like and make a late push for them. And again, it might be an under the radar guy. It could be a big 4 or 5-star prospect. We've seen them do that too, where, a Peyton Bowen or, Michael Fasusi was one of those that seemed to be in flux up until the early signing period, but they kind of squashed all the noise there. Oklahoma's going to continue to recruit well. Brent Venables is a great recruiting head coach, and his staff does a fantastic job. Jim Nagy just helps enhance all of that. Yep. So Oklahoma lands Braden Allen. The class is not done yet. We'll see where they go. So make sure you're tuned in and subscribed to Locked On Sooners wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. Follow Jay at Unfair Sports. Go check out his channel, Unfair Sports, on YouTube. You can follow me at John9Williams and read my work covering the Sooners over at SoonersWire.com. The show is at Locked On Sooners on all of your favorite social media platforms. But until next time, where we'll break down Kent State and Oklahoma and give you some bold predictions. We'll go through Friday fan feels and more on our Friday episode. We'll be here live after the game Saturday for our post-game reaction. When Oklahoma names its number, Michael Hawkins Jr. has a big, big day, and the Oklahoma Sooners rushing attack gets on track. We'll do that here on Locked On Sooners. But until next time, he's Jay Smith. I'm John Williams. We'll talk to you then. Boomer
Sooner.